Happy
Good
Saturday.
morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
How was your day off yesterday?
My day off yesterday was doing some housey stuff, tidying up my room, although you wouldn't think it looking at it again today, and going through my stash. And what else did I do? Called Gary's mum, went for a walk, Gary's quiz in the afternoon, and then last night a learning exercise for today.
Me think this will be quite interesting then, this learning exercise. So good morning, welcome to everybody. Lovely to see you here. Well, see is not the operative word because we can't see you, but no. You can see us. So hello to everybody watching live and everybody watching the replay. This is Gogglefrogs, and we set this up 9 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, don't know how many weeks ago, but we're well in the 40s of these shows now. And we set these up because all of our knitting natter groups were shut, weren't they, where we used to go and chat, drink copious amounts of tea and coffee and just share what we're working on. Or sometimes what we do is start working on stuff, but then we'd have to go home and, as we call it in the industry, frog it, because we've been chatting so much that we've made mistakes in our knitting or our crochet. So hence the word Gogglefrog. So hello to everyone on replay around the world. I'm Angela, and this is my wonderful friend and co-host, Robert.
Hello.
So I've still not finished my cardigan. So it was a very busy day yesterday, and I didn't do any knitting at all. So Fridays we have Fridays off.
Yeah.
We have Sundays off as well. But yeah. So what have you been up to then? Because you're putting all these lovely little snippets in there.
Yeah. So for those of you that are Eurovision fans, today is Eurovision. Now, unfortunately, the main event has been cancelled, but there are best of bits tonight and people's favourites and all of the acts who would have performed tonight. I'm not quite sure whether they are still performing or whether they're showing the pre-recorded videos for them, but just so that they get their moment in the spotlight. So as it's Eurovision today, I spent yesterday making this little video for us. So Angela, if you put yourself on mute.
Yeah.
Everybody, if you've got people who can take pictures of you having a little boogie, then please do, because I think you're going to like it. Let me just find it. There we go.
Well done, you. Thank you.
So yes, Eurovision today, and there were our 5 wins. And then I thought, how can I finish it all off? And thought, best song ever, or most played song ever from Eurovision is Waterloo. So there we go.
Oh wow.
That's all right, that's fine. And I've got lots and lots of trivia for you. So we've hosted Eurovision 8 times, even though we've only won 5. Because other countries couldn't afford to do it, so we stepped in.
Oh, that'd be good.
Out of the 5 times we've won, we only hosted 4 times after it. We didn't host in 1970, because in 1969 we were joint first with 4 other countries, and because we'd hosted 2 years earlier, we gracefully bowed out and let somebody else take their chance. So we've been runner-up 15 times. We've not been in the top 10 since 2009. In the whole history of Eurovision, we've only ever got nil point once, and that was in 2003.
Was that Scoop?
No, that was Gemini.
Oh, Gemini, yes. Out of P, Gemini.
So yes, there we go. Lots and lots and lots, and they are all Eurovision, actual Eurovision clips. They're not after they had the live events, which is why at the very beginning, when Sandy starts singing, her microphone wasn't turned on. So she just carried on, and then they realised and switched her mic on, which is why you've got the sound elevation in it.
Wow, and she still won.
And she still won. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have to say, when you listen back to them, they were brilliant. But I do think we've had some. Do you know what? We've had some pretty good acts that we've sent over there. Some have been not too good, but we have had some really good ones, and I think it's a real shame for them that they never get the plaque that they deserve. And I actually really like this year's song. I think it's more of something that will go in the charts rather than Eurovision. So not sure how that would have gone down, but who knows? Because is it Russia keep putting in their top artists, don't they, and getting millions and millions of votes for their artists year after year. So somebody over there is spending a lot of money and voting for them.
And did you know that we don't have, although we go through the qualifying stages, we don't actually have to, because there are 5 countries that are guaranteed a place in the final, and we're one of them, and that's because we contribute an awful lot financially towards it. Us, France, Germany, Italy, and I can't remember the other one, but we automatically qualify because of it. Yeah.
Did you see the programme on last night about Eurovision bloopers? It was on last night. I fell asleep, but I watched about 10 minutes, and there was some bizarre acts. And I think the one that we all remember, well, there's 2 that we really remember. We all remember Riverdance, and which wasn't actually in Eurovision, but probably the biggest thing that ever came out of Eurovision. And there was also the turkey in the trolley, which was one of Ireland's acts a few years ago. It didn't get through the semi-final, so it never got to appear, but it was actually taking the mickey out of the Eurovision scoring. So that's quite interesting. So I think I might download it on replay and watch the whole lot this afternoon, and get into the spirit of Eurovision. There's nothing better to knit to, is there? Eurovision.
No, absolutely not. Right. I'm sorry that musical interlude was quite long. So we haven't done good mornings. So should we start with those?
Yeah. Should we do bottom to top?
Bottom to top. Okay. So we start with Suez. Good morning, Sue.
Morning.
And then we've got Sally. Morning, Sally.
Morning.
We've got Rowena. Morning, Rowena.
Good morning.
And we have a new person today, Matthew. Good morning, Matthew.
Hello, Matthew.
Do let us know where you're from, and feel free to join in the chat box that's on the side. As we go through, we'll read out everything that everybody's saying in the chat as well. Morning, Marion Wildy.
Good morning.
I hope you had a lovely day on Thursday. Morning, Linda Ellis.
Good morning.
Morning, Judy.
Morning.
Morning, Evelyn.
Good morning.
Morning, Denise.
Good morning.
Morning, Deborah.
Good morning.
Morning, Dawn.
Good morning.
Morning, Claire.
Morning.
And that's it. Oh, and Brigitte. Good morning, Brigitte. Just snuck in.
She's come back from her walk, obviously.
Matthew says he's from Oxford, just sitting here knitting a hat. Well, welcome to you. See you.
Lovely.
So it is Saturday. So it is Show It Off Saturday. So we've had a couple of pictures posted in Gogglefrogs Facebook page. There is still time. About halfway through, we'll pick up the Facebook page, and then we'll look at what you finished this week. So Show It Off Saturday is the replacement for Finished It Friday. So before we carry on, I think it's time to make the announcement, and I'll try to keep myself composed while we do this. Unfortunately, on Thursday afternoon, I had a phone call from my boss to say that I'm being unfurloughed from Tuesday. Although the store's not due to open for another 2 weeks, there's some work that's got to be done beforehand. So I've been drafted in to get that done. So unfortunately, I won't be able to join you every day going forward for Gogglefrogs. but I will be telling Angela what I can do and when I'll be around. I will still be watching the replay, and I will still be Angela's tech support from afar, and uploading any videos or music that she decides. So Monday will be probably my last Gogglefrogs for a while. But like I say, we don't know what that looks like until I get in on Tuesday, and I'm told what it is that I'm going to be doing. So I was quite upset, not just because of losing Gogglefrogs, but there's other stuff that I've been doing. And so even silly things like the daily call to Gary's mum at 3 o'clock is going to be quite a wrench to not do anymore. But there we go. The world must go back to normal at some point, and who knows, if the R rate doesn't continue to come down and it's creeping back up again, then there's a chance that I might get refurloughed, and then I will be back.
So I am absolutely devastated. Really am. It's not nice at all. However, we're just thinking about how it could work, but we won't really know until Robert goes back to work. But I'm going to continue it. So please, if anybody would like to pop on, please do. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. But Gogglefrogs is about community. It's about you guys. It's about having this little connection, and it's about being able to, just like in our Facebook group, and please, if you're new or if you're watching the replays, do join our Gogglefrogs Facebook group, because it's really important that when we're finishing our knitting, that our friends can say, that's brilliant, and I know that little bit of recognition is really nice, and just to get inspiration and ideas as well. So I don't know what we're going to do without you, Robert, but the world must go on. And I can't believe that I'm losing my knitting husband on the virtual settee, because it's been every week for weeks, every day for weeks and weeks and weeks now. And even when we're not doing the show, we're chatting about things and deciding about things. But it's not going to go away. We've always said Gogglefrogs is here for as long as people need it, and that's what we will do. It will just change, but that's what happens with things, doesn't it? It changes. So we will keep going, we may change the time some days so that we can get Robert in if it's on an evening, but he doesn't know days off or anything yet. And so, and you need days off. You need total days off.
There we go. Right. So it's let's say some more good mornings. Brigitte says, morning peeps, sorry I'm late, had a blocked drain outside that had to be dealt with. Oh dear, hope not too bad. Brigitte, when you get the replay through, go back and watch the beginning, and I want a picture of you doing your little boogie, please.
Yeah.
And when she says, Robert, Blair, work. Yeah, I know, but hey, I've got 23 years until I can retire at the earliest, so got to do it. Claire says, Boris's announcement meant this week I was snowed under with work, assigning and scheduling work for 70 kids for another 7 school weeks until the end of the year. When that dies down a bit, then she'll be back with us. Georgie says, morning, Georgie. Georgie, go back and watch the beginning of the replay. You missed a Gogglefrogs presentation. Gogglevision 2020.
It's Robert Rowley Scorsese medley.
And what was really surprising, it was a learning exercise. Sorry, I'm just going to sidetrack ever so slightly. Is because I did most of it myself. Gary only had to do 2 or 3 tiny things when I was ready to finish it. So yes, and that's why it was the learning exercise. Brigitte says the drain was awful and stinky. Ugh. Deborah says, Robert, we'll miss you, but hopefully you'll be able to pop in from time to time. Absolutely. And I will talk to Angela every day and let her know what can happen. It may be if the store is closed and I'm just replanning and cleaning, I can still listen while you're carrying on. And as Angela said, we'll do a couple of evenings. We might change the days so that if I'm off on a Friday, we do something. I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
Right. So this week we've been talking about cast-ons, haven't we?
Yes, we have. We have.
So because I knew the video was quite long, What I didn't do was find another video that was as long to do for cast-ons. So we have missed lots and lots of cast-ons. I do apologise. Monday we had the long tail cast-on with 2 needles. Tuesday we had the Turkish cast-on. Wednesday we had the cable cast-on. Thursday we had
the Pico
cast-on. Yeah. And so today we're going to finish with one that gets talked about quite a lot. Just interestingly, people mentioned about Judy's cast-on, Judy's magic cast-on. That's the same as the Turkish cast-on. I found out yesterday when I was trying to find Judy's cast-on. So there we go. So today we are going to look at the I-cord bind-on. Now, there are lots and lots of videos that talk you through the I-cord. And so do go and do some research, but this was the one that I found probably the easiest to understand and simplest to follow. And it doesn't look like an awful lot at the beginning, but it will, towards the end of the video, you'll see where it's going with it. So if you're ready, Angela, let's watch I-cord cast on. Sorry, end of cast ons. Hopefully you want to continue next week, Angela, doing cast-offs.
I will. I'll be doing my I-cord bind off with one of them.
Yeah. So if you just let me know which ones you want, and then I'll find some videos for you and upload them.
Yeah, definitely.
So Judy says, "You're brilliant, Robert. I hope your boss knows it." Probably doesn't, but there we go.
Not like we do.
Brigitte says this cast-on is 65 in that book. I'm going to go and get my copy of that book in a second. Claire says, for those who use I-cord cast-on, what is it good for? Georgie says that was a good one. Right, bear with me just 1 second.
I think that Robert's going to get the book. Everyone talks about this book, so yes, this is it.
So this is cast on and bind off, and Brigitte messaged me the other day, and so I gave in and ordered it. Not that I took a lot of persuading myself, but it's a bound book, and it tells you at the beginning all of the different casts on and what they're good for. So I-cord can be used for doesn't say. Hang on 1 sec.
I've used the cast off for edging this cardigan, but I haven't actually cast on. I am wondering if I could cast on using the I-cord and then finish it round the edges. So rather than doing the bottom in bind off, whether I could cast on.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like was the fact that you've got to do that funny thing with your thumb and what's-its to cast it on. That's what I didn't like.
Oh, I can get it by tomorrow. As we speak,
yeah.
Ordering.
It was, yeah, mine came within a day as well. Oh, that was not the book I showed you, so the page won't be right, Brigitte saying. Oh, dear. Okay.
Oh.
Oops. Oh, I-cord cast on is not in this book. I-cord bind off is, but not I-cord cast on. Never mind. Oh. Anyway, sorry, Brigitte, I thought that was the book that you sent me. I will have to find that one as well then. Georgie says that was a good one. And then Claire says it's handy living 10 miles from the Amazon depot. Yes, it is. Right, Brigitte has just sent a picture.
Was that from Brigitte?
Yes.
Ah, right. So that's 211 ways to cast on and bind off.
Oh, okay.
There's only buying options for that one though.
Okay, my mistake then. Sorry.
I'm sure it's still good. Right, I'll buy one then.
Right.
So, she has the other one. She has that one as well. Of course, you'll have both, but she finds the other one a little better. The other one is only, I think it's out of print, so it's only available from second-hand suppliers, which is absolutely fine. But they tend to take a little bit longer to arrive, don't they? So we'll see. I might place an order on that one. Oh, one's coming from the USA. So the other one is £20.
Rowena says you've still got a new book, Robert. Yeah. Not that I need any more books. I had to do granny squares for my work crafting group a few weeks ago, and I thought, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just find a couple of books to give them some examples. And I kept pulling all these books out, and I was like, okay, how many more crochet books have I got?
And what he hasn't told you either is that there's a little pile next to him that he's sorting out later as well of patterns.
Well, that's my patterns, yeah, my pattern pile.
Yeah, as to which to take, which to go.
Yeah. Georgie says, it doesn't matter, Robert, you can never have enough craft books. There's always room for one more, same as yarn. Yeah, I don't think we should be talking about yarn today. Oh dear. So on Wednesday, I stupidly set myself up because on next Wednesday, we're going to have work in progress confessional, and we're going to count how many works in progress we've got. And I was mortified yesterday at how many I've got outstanding. And then the following Wednesday, I proposed that we have a yarn stash confessional. Well, that kind of blew up a bit over the last few days on Gogglefrogs, and I have
brace yourself.
208 balls of yarn in my stash. That doesn't include the 10 amigurumi mini balls that I have, or the 34 ends of pattern balls that I have, where I've used part of the ball to make a something. So yes, I was just a little bit taken aback, and then I worked out I have 13 cross stitches and tapestries yet to start. I have a fabric banner, one weaving project, one beading project, and this is just from the wardrobe. It's not from the very full chest of drawers that I have next to me either. So yes, I was a bit wow. And out of those 208 balls, how many do you think I put aside to give away? 2. Because everything else was just so nice, or reserved for a project, or goes with another project. And at one point, Gary came in the room and he went, Robert! Because I couldn't close the door quick enough. Rowena says, Robert, you could start a Gogglefrogs addiction group. My name's Robert. I'm a yarnaholic. And today, and this week, I bought balls of wool. Oh, dear.
Well, I don't actually live where I am at the moment. I'm at my parents', but I do have. I seem to have purchased, I think, over 30 balls of wool since I've been here in the last 6 weeks. So that is totally wrong. Yeah, I've just purchased that. Well, I thought I needed other stuff. I thought. But I did arrive with plenty of stuff anyway. So yeah, I think in the last few weeks that I've been up here, I have purchased a silly amount of wool. But I needed it. It was all essential. All right. So it's off a really good project, shall we say? Oh,
I should say that out of those 208, you know, you keep calling me the cake king. Guess how many cakes I had?
I would say over 40.
Oh, no, I don't feel so bad now then. No, I only had 10 cakes, but even that was enough.
But with 10 cakes, Robert, you have used a lot of cakes.
Yeah.
So I just, Robert, actually, you have got a gambling addiction. And there's other people in Gogglefrogs who have.
Oh, no, I haven't done that for months.
I know, because Robert, I mentioned this online knitting gambling site where you could win things. And the next thing, he was on there. He was gambling every day to try and win. But the thing was, he won loads and loads and loads and loads of them. So that was funny. But I've never gambled on it. So, but you love cakes. And do you know what? You choose really lovely colours in terms of cakes as well. So they're always beautiful.
Yes, I'm Brigitte and I'm a yarnaholic. I'm Brigitte and I'm a cross-stitchaholic. Rowena says it's good for mental health.
Yeah.
Angela says it's essential yarn. It's Angela, it's essential yarn. It's purely medicinal. Yes, she forgot about Betty's wool shack. And Dawn says there are two hobbies: buying yarn and knitting with it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Love that.
Matthew says I had to put in my wool in bags you vacuum the air out of to be able to keep it all managed. Yes, I can sympathise with that as well.
I think I need to do some of that on my half-finished projects when I eventually get home to my home, and just vacuum pack loads of them. That I don't want to give the wool away, but I really don't like what it's making up to be. So I think they'll get vacuum packed.
I have to say though, there's nothing wrong with it. Do you remember when we went to Sheringham this year?
Yeah.
Around Sheringham is our annual knitting retreat, and I've organised the last two. And this year I put wool into the goodie bags. And do you remember that they were quite big balls, weren't they, that I put in there this year?
Yeah.
They were round balls style craft. But I used vacuum bags to suck them out so that it wasn't taking up as much space in the car, and that they could slide then down behind the front seats.
Yeah.
And then when I opened them up, they all came out perfectly, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Nothing wrong with it. And actually, it's probably a really sensible thing to do, because then it stops the air and the moth and the natural oils getting to it.
Yeah.
So, I don't feel so bad.
You are?
Because I don't feel so bad though, because 40 of those balls were from Wee County Yarns that I showed during the week. That my pizza box that I got last weekend.
Oh.
So technically, if you took those out, it'd only be 168.
Well, I think because it came in a pizza box, it classes as one.
Okay, 167 then.
Yes, it's one, because they're all to be used. They were purchased in a box, so that's just one. All right. And you know what the other thing? If you hadn't purchased all these beautiful wools, as we all do, how many small independent wool shops, yarn dyers, suppliers, entrepreneurs wouldn't be there today? So we make the world go round, all of us, don't we?
Claire says, good work, Matthew. Dedication to one's art. Well done. And she thinks that anything less than 50 grams doesn't count. Okay, I'll take that. That probably reduces it by a third again.
Yeah, anything with the ball band taken off, so you don't know how much it is. So if the ball band's on, then we can't count it, can we? Because we don't actually know how much it is.
Louise says, I have had yarn delivered by the post in vacuum bags. Reduces postage, I think.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah, Deborah says she uses vacuum bags quite a lot.
Oh.
And Georgie says the sheet would all be too hot if we didn't buy any yarn.
That's very true. Yeah,
it's true. It's very, very true. Oh. Right. So it is Show It Off Saturday. Shall we go to Gogglefrogs and see what everyone's been up to?
Yeah, let's see some of the pics.
Okay. Actually, there we go. Right. So, Marion says, I thought I'd show you something different. These are both tapestries I did over 35 years ago. The one on the left, which she thinks is a griffin, my brother brought me as a kit as a gift, all various shades of brown and beige. The poppies I did 1 year for my mother-in-law, who had it in her bedroom in such a positive. It was the first and last thing you saw on leaving or entering the room. She loved it.
Oh, they are gorgeous. And so they're over 35 years old, but they're still like new, aren't they? The colours are just stunning.
They are.
That's lovely.
Evelyn says 3 in 1, finished top. Happy to do another one with more of my own pattern. Here's Mr. Duck to go with Isla's book, Where is Mr. Duck? And also something I did over a Zoom workshop a week ago. Gave me a boost to order the wool from Shetland along with a pattern and hat in aid of scanner so desperately needed up there. There we go. So that was Benedict. That was Benedict Cumberquack. That was it, yeah. Who looks lovely. Well done, Evelyn. Brigitte says, it's not knitting or crochet, but cross stitch. I did this for Rod's birthday 9 years ago. It was an American kit. Not easy to do the greenery, often 5 threads and a lot of blending. When we lived by the canal, he used to sit on our deck fishing just like that. We had a cat then, but my daughter has a dog like this, so a bit of poetic license. That is stunning. Absolutely stunning. Such detail in all those colours. And it would have taken a very, very, very long time to do that. Georgie says, here are my exhibits for Show It Off Saturday. Most I've done in ages. So there's her rainbow with her pom-poms.
I love the pom-poms. Absolutely love it.
And then there's Penelope the bear. And Penelope the bear is quite big. She's probably about as big as this one behind me. Because she's done in chunky yarn. And Georgie, when we were speaking to her on Thursday, said it was an absolute pain because it really hurt her hand because of the size of the yarn. And then she did the face, I think she said 3 times, didn't she, Angela, before she with it? And
then stuffed it, unstuffed, stuffed it again. And I think that's the thing. The larger the project, the harder it is to fill it and get the contours right. So George, you've done an incredible job on that. It's beautiful, and I know that you weren't just going to leave it, you had to make it perfect. So you've redone it so many times and it is beautiful.
It really is.
So that's the first Toft project I think that you've finished since our last trip there. So when was that? When did we go? Was it
January?
Oh, was it January? So yeah, it's gorgeous. Well done.
It might have been February actually.
Was it? Can't remember.
I can't remember either.
No.
So Denise has posted 153 ball skeins. Is that a lot? Apparently not compared to me.
No, it's that's totally manageable, isn't it? Anything under 1,000 is manageable.
George has posted a lovely bag here. Which
I like that.
Crochet. Yeah. And then I think we've shown that before from Denise. At last, a finished object from Denise. That's lovely.
Oh, wow. That's gorgeous. I love the colour. Absolutely love the colour. But you know me, I like anything that's reds, pinks, fuchsias.
Jean's posted her Show It Off Saturday. This week's knit. The top was supposed to be a pinafore style, but I didn't like it, so made it into a dress.
I love that.
That is gorgeous.
And it's so now as well, rainbows, isn't it?
Yeah.
So beautiful. Love the colours.
We had Pico cast on
Thursday.
So here is Pico cast off to a shawl. That's lovely.
It is.
I quite like that. And I think that's it. I think we're back to Thursday's posts. So thank you everybody for that. Just a reminder that Monday is Mashup Monday. So this is where you've brought a pattern, but you've either changed the wool or you've made a tiny alteration to it, and just show us what that looks like. So let's catch up on the comments from the Facebook page. Linda says, I like your comment about independent producers. We're doing our bit for the wool economy.
Totally. I mean, without them, we will, we won't be able to do our craft. And do you know what? The more I look around, I don't think I've got any down here, but some of them, no, the other ones are upstairs. Some of the beautiful skeins that we can get, and some of it can't be done. It's not mass production stuff. It takes so long to produce even one skein, and the colours as well. And when you're buying them, we have to do smaller projects because they're so expensive per skein or per ball. But it's what makes the world go around. And there's nothing nicer than going somewhere like when we have our beautiful, what are they, exhibitions and shows, and you go in and just think the creative minds that they have to produce these different wools, just amazing. Do you know what? You made me think I'm definitely ordering the cat book. So I'll show the cat book as soon as it arrives. I'm going to order it. It probably won't be here by Monday, but hey, I'll get it ordered.
And just going back ever so slightly, you talked about the people who design and produce the walls. And sometimes they do it with specific patterns in mind. But what I find really interesting is people who can take the wall and do something completely different with it to what it was originally intended for. And on Saturday the 30th, when we have our virtual regional day, we've got a half-an-hour slot for the spotted sheep. And Jackie in particular is really good. So like the things behind you, where the batik swirl cake was never intended for a pom-pom shawl, and Jackie is really good at taking wool that comes in and making their own patterns for it. So that's what we're going to be showing from them on that Saturday.
Yeah, and that is just, I think this is one of my favourite ever purchases. One ball of batik swirl makes a huge, great shawl like that.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible. I just think the colouring is amazing. And especially with, actually, I'll just get that now. Just the edging. Like with Jackie, she'll always do something a little bit different. So that's the bind off around the edge. And then the fact that there are pom-poms, and I've just used up the rest. But it really is an incredible colour and so easy to wear. So if you've got any batik swirl, this one cake, which is under £10, I think it's £9.99 or £9.95. And to give somebody that for Christmas, I think it's an incredible present. Really, really amazing. A batik swirl. Can I just say, I've never used Stylecraft for anything, so that's probably the first Stylecraft I've ever used, and I was quite surprised. So this here is foreign. But yeah, I've been a bit convinced with Stylecraft, and then I purchased linen drape from Stylecraft to make a cardigan, and I'm making a secret present for Robert as well, bit by bit. It will eventually get done before your next birthday, and again, that's out of Stylecraft. So I've been converted, but there's lots of other things. You get it before your next birthday, okay? It's just a little IOU.
So just a reminder then, that's 51 weeks tomorrow.
But what you will find is when you get it, it is designed only for you. There is only for you. It's only for you and possibly one other person in the world who could actually have this, and you'll know why when you see it. So it will be a totally unique gift.
Okay. Right, so going back to comments, Rowena says the poppies are beautiful. Brigitte says I love the poppies. So well done, Mariam. Yeah. Claire says, Brigitte, that is simply amazing, to her cross stitch. And Brigitte says, I had 6 weeks to do it as I didn't get the kit till mid-September. All that work in 6 weeks. Wow. And doing it without him being around must have been really difficult. Claire says, Stash, I dread to think I also have unknown numbers of yards of fabric to contend with. That is one thing I have to say I'm really good at. My my fabric stash is quite contained. I do have a lot of it, but it is still quite contained. And I very rarely just buy fabric on impulse. Well, I say that, but actually I do. Georgie says,
I remember buying, fabric with you, and I haven't even got a sewing machine. Well, there is one, an old one in the loft somewhere, but we
fabric.
we did buy that. That is beautiful. And you can't see the gold on it, but we both bought some of that for cushions or something.
So Georgie says, thank you for the lovely comments about Penelope and Brigitte says, my Pico cast off edge on the shawl was one designed by Jackie from the Spotted Sheep. There we go.
Yeah.
Brigitte says, fortunately at that time Rob was still riding motorbikes a lot, so spent a lot of time in the workshop. That's how she managed to get it done.
Of course. Yeah.
So there we go. So what does your weekend look like, Angela?
Well, I think we're going to have a little bit of a Eurovision day. So I think I might download that from last night, hopefully if we can get it. Watch whatever Eurovision is on tonight. I want to finish this. I want to get on a different project. I've got loads of marketing stuff to do. So online stuff to do. So I'll do some of that straight after this. And then tomorrow I think it's going to be a bit of a chill out day. What about you?
So I have 3 days before I go back to work, and I'm trying to get through my list that I wrote nearly 10 weeks ago of stuff that I wanted to do.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not going to get all of it done. Okay. And Gary's off this weekend as well, so not quite sure what the weekend looks like yet, but it will be Eurovision this evening, definitely. Matthew says, sewing by hand is a lovely thing. You don't need a sewing machine.
That's true. You know what, Matthew? When I was young, I was probably about 8, and one of my uncles worked for Slumberdown up in Scotland, and he used to send me loads and loads of different bits of material, and I used to sit there and make all of my cushions by hand. So I never used the sewing machine ever. We had one, but as soon as I put my foot on the pedal, the damn thing snarled. So we've never been able to use it, and I did them all by hand. So that's a really good idea. I might think of something by hand, because you can easily do like the frilled edges and stuff like that, can't you? You just tack it and use different stitches. So thank you. I may do that, Matthew.
Claire says she is sewing by hand as we speak.
Oh.
So Claire does lots of patchwork, which means you have to sew by hand. But she's also a very, very good quilter. Yes. So she's multi-talented because she can do both types of sewing. Brigitte says, thank you for today. I shall have to go out and put the drain covers on and clean the mess in the yard, and then I'll need an extra thorough shower. And Rowena says, Brigitte used lots of scented soap in that shower. So bye, Brigitte. Have a lovely weekend.
Bye-bye. Well done for starting Saturday with a block drain.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I did do was I made, it took a good couple of hours in the pan, but I made a really nice bolognese yesterday that I cooked really slowly in the pan, and then I put it into the slow cooker overnight. So that's been bubbling away overnight. So when it gets to dinner time, we can just have our dinner.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, but that's all done.
I forgot my shirt off Saturday, look.
Robert, wow!
So this is the bamboozle cow, and it's the last one I should make because I have no more bamboozle left now. And I love it, absolutely love it. And I don't think you can get a true sense of the colours from it.
No.
They're just gorgeous.
The blues are just sky blue, aren't they? That's lovely.
There we go.
Oh, how fitting for you to really show it off Saturday.
And do you know what I found?
What?
And I don't know how many other people do this, but normally I sew it up, but I actually crocheted this together.
Oh.
Just using the stitches from the opposite side, and just did a slip stitch right the way down, and it's held it really nice and tight.
Brilliant. Well
So
done.
there we go. That's a suggestion for anybody who, instead of sewing, do crochet edges. So Brigitte says, I'm staying till the end of Gogglefrogs. The mess can wait. Okay, fair enough.
Love it, Brigitte. Graphic first.
Evelyn says, not around today. Thank you for your Robert. Thank you for all your lovely chats. I've learned a lot more. Gogglefrogs will continue, Evelyn, and I will come in and out as and when I can.
Yeah.
Brigitte says the cow is gorgeous. Georgie says that's gorgeous, Robert. Deborah says I'm making a hand-sewn patchwork quilt, but I've started a machine-sewn patchworking using my huge fabric stash. Call it my lockdown quilt. We'll post pics. That'd be lovely, Deborah.
Please do. Can't wait.
Very talented group of people.
Sorry, just to let everybody know, something that we have always said is when we're out of lockdown and everything is safe, we're going to have an exhibition. We're in the Leighton Buzzard area. We're going to look for somewhere where we can exhibit, where people can boom in through Wi-Fi. And I know that you'll be giving away a lot of your items, but it would be really lovely to exhibit them and for us all to meet each other in the flesh. So please do keep in touch, and we will be sending those invites out to everyone. And even if you're abroad, you can still link, and we will boom you in through Zoom or something so you can be part of the day. So that's our intention for when we come out of lockdown.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that would be lovely. I can't wait to see what everybody's created, and I bet we'll be all surprised how much has been created in lockdown.
Absolutely. And we've had some lovely pictures on Gogglefrogs over the last 3 weeks, haven't we?
Yeah.
Of stuff that people have been up to and doing and so on. So
just ask to join the Gogglefrogs group if you're not already in there. And then you can see everything that people are doing. There's lots of patterns that people post for inspiration too.
It's 11 o'clock, Angela.
Oh, Robert.
That went so quick.
I've only done about 3 rows.
I've done nothing. But then that's typically what happens, isn't it? I never get anything done.
I just chat, sit back and knit. And yeah. Oh, so it's Sunday tomorrow, so no Gogglefrogs tomorrow. You will get a replay. Watch the beautiful medley brought to you by Gogglefrogs, aka Robert. He did the video. And enjoy everything Eurovision. Enjoy your weekend, and thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, it'll be lovely to see you again soon. So see you on Monday, 10 o'clock sharp, as usual.
And next week is cast-offs. So have a lovely weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.